YouTube is Rico, man. I'm back with another video, man. Y'all see what we got going on, man. We got 2-year-old shot in the face, killer gets bodied in prison, so you already know what time it is, man. Before we even get started, if you're brand new to the channel, make sure you leave a like, comment, and subscribe if you haven't already. And don't forget to tell your family and friends about the channel as well, and hopefully they become supporters of the channell. And also, don't forget to turn on post notifications so you guys get notified when I drop new videos. And sometimes the post notifications don't work, so be sure to make sure you check out the channel every day, no matter the time of the day, just because you never know when I'm gonna upload. And like I said before, because sometimes the notifications don't work, so that way you'll be for sure able to make sure you see all the new videos that I drop and you don't miss out. And also, don't forget to add and follow me on social media. All my social media platforms are listed down below in the description box, as well as in the intro of this video, so you shouldn't have a hard time finding me at all on social media. That being said, man, we're gonna go ahead and get into the video. That starting the vid now. Hold on, I don't know what's going on. I just lagged so hard like that.
Man, what's up, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of EOS. It's 1090 Jake, but I'm rocking with y'all, and y'all rocking with me. And for this video, we're gonna be speaking on a baby killer that was.
And also, shout out to 1090 Jake, man. Every time I watch a video of his or I react to a video of his, he always come in with accurate information. He ain't never getting on videos and just coming out of nowhere with stuff that ain't really verifiable and shit like that. So with that being said, he actually puts in the time to go do his research and to make sure he do a video as accurate as possible on the situations that he's doing a video on and stuff. So shout out to him for sure, man. Definitely going crazy. Yeah, man, there's only more big things to come from Simple. But other than that though, let's go ahead and continue.
Was killed inside a prison. August 4th, 2014. It was 9:45 at night in Weldon, North Carolina, when 3 friends were walking through a neighborhood. That's when 2 shooters came out of the woods, opened fire, and struck all 3 of them, leaving 15-year-old Keon Ghana dead. His 2 friends would be transported to the hospital in stable condition, but they were able to break the news to family that Keon had been killed. But it wasn't only that, they also knew who did it. As police processed the murder scene and family processed what happened, Keon's friends quickly decided to strike back. Less than 2 hours after the triple shooting, a group of 4 approached a house on Cedar Street, only a half-mile away. The house belonged to the family of one of Keon's killers, and that's all they needed to know before making their next move. 2 teens stood on an air conditioning unit so they could see inside one of the windows, and once they could, they opened fire. 7 bullets striking a 54-year-old woman who was sleeping in the bed, tearing through her lower body, with 1 bullet lodging into her head. Another bullet went into the face of a sleeping 2-year-old girl, exiting the top of her head as she lay with her grandmother. As the 4 friends who sought revenge ran from the home, a 2-year-old was left dead, and her grandmother was airlifted to a nearby hospital, dying twice on the way and being revived each time. Some way, somehow, she was still able to describe to law enforcement what had happened. Police were able.
And that's a sad situation, man. Like, we all know 2 wrongs don't make a right, but man, when you do something like that, man, that's just heartbreaking for sure, man. Simple, because ain't no baby or kid asked to be a part of a situation like that. They don't even know what's going on and stuff. And sometimes when a situation like this happens, they sometimes don't even make it at all and stuff, so they don't even get to really grow up and live life and stuff and learn all the things there is about life and shit like that. They're not able to go pretty much live a future that they see for themselves and stuff once they finally be able to know exactly what it is that they want to do with them, like with their life and stuff like that. So being a 2-year-old and that happens, man, it's just crazy. It's just crazy, man. But other than that though, man, let's continue on.
Able to arrest 19-year-old Samaj Clanton after he surrendered, and a warrant went out for 18-year-old Teddy Anderson Jr., who was eventually found. Both of them were charged with murdering 15-year-old Keon. Come to find out, the home that was shot up belonged to Teddy's family, and it was his 2-year-old niece Diana Anderson that was killed. Police also arrested the 4 friends involved in the revenge shooting of the little girl and her grandmother, with one of the shooters being identified as 17-year-old Samajes Short and the other 19-year-old Jamonte Moody. Snitching, statements, and plea deals would end with 3 convictions. Teddy Anderson was sentenced to 17 years for murdering Keon and having to live with the fact that what he did resulted in his own family being targeted, attacked, and his niece being killed less than 2 hours after he decided.
And people don't care, man, like if you was involved in a situation or not. As long as you are known to be a relative or a friend or an associate of a person that got a target on their back, people automatically gonna make you also a target, or don't even care that you are in the crossfires of whatever they got going on and stuff. So yeah, that's a sad situation. You pretty much got to live with the fact that he pretty much is responsible for what happened to his niece. And pretty sure his because I don't know who is the parents of the niece, but I'm pretty sure they're highly upset and stuff by what has happened based off of the actions that he made happen and stuff like that. So other than that though, man, it's definitely a sad situation all around. Simple. But other than that, let's go ahead and continue on.
To commit murder. In the other case, Jamonte gave a statement to police, receiving 13.5 years for his cooperation and the attempted murder of the 54-year-old grandmother, while Samajes received 31 years for the murder of the 2-year-old little girl. Fast forward to 2022, Samajes, now 24 years old, was back in the news. On March 29th at 2:14 p.m., an attack broke out within one of the housing areas at the Birdie Correctional Institution, a facility that holds over 1,500 inmates with both medium and closed custody levels. Samajes was attacked by multiple inmates, and 23 minutes after the attack started, he was pronounced dead. Prison staff had attempted life-saving measures.
I ain't gonna say too much, but that's definitely karma, man. Like, especially when you go to prison, people don't really like seeing or being around a person that did something to a child. They definitely don't tolerate that at all up in the prisons for sure. And that's pretty much, you could say, almost every prison anywhere. Don't nobody want to be around or stand, like, pretty much even be able to see a person walk around knowing that they did something to a child and stuff like that. Let alone even to sometimes a woman. When you do stuff like that, you just pretty much you pretty much got your what they call it. It's a saying that goes around, like, but I can't really think of what it is. But other than that, he pretty much just had death written on him when he walked through them doors, pretty much. That's how I'll just pretty much short story it. But yeah, man, you don't do something to a child and go to prison and think you're gonna survive that long, let alone probably even a month. Like, somebody is gonna be willing to do something to you, period. So other than that though, man, it is what it is. They definitely made a mistake of doing what they did, and it is what it is. So with that being said, let's continue.
And were able to transfer 3 other wounded inmates to an outside medical facility as the prison was placed on lockdown. News quickly began to spread through social media the convicted baby killer was killed, with many celebrating his death in the comments. But what many didn't know was the story of revenge that led to the fatal shooting. It's unclear whether his death inside a prison had anything to do with his conviction, as he'd already been in prison just days shy of 4 years. And at the time of his death, he had a close cut.
Oh, so he was actually in there for some years then. So hold on, let me make sure I heard that right. So he was actually in there for some years though, which is pretty much kind of lucky, if you ask me. But yeah, man, at the end of the day, you just never know when somebody is gonna have it out for you. Like I said, people eventually gonna want to do something to a person that is known to have done something to a child, whether it is through violence or assault, etc., stuff like that. So other than that, let's go ahead and continue on. I did rewind it just a little bit so I can rehear him say that last sentence he did.
Conviction, as he'd already been in prison just days shy of 4 years.
Oh yeah, so okay, so he actually was already in there for 3 years, and he was almost gonna be there for 4, but got killed before he could reach 4 years. Okay, so now I understand. So yeah, at least he was able to live 3 years and so on and so forth. I mean, it's prison. You ain't really been able to do much anyway for all that time you in there. You just pretty much up in there with others and listening to people tell you what to do when they want you to do it and shit. So other than that, either way, he was still pretty much not really doing too much of anything at all while in there. But other than that, let's continue.
And at the time of his death, he had a closed custody level, meaning he'd been in trouble within the prison system. And he also wasn't the only one wounded in the attack, meaning this may have been related to prison politics instead of his actual charges. But in the end, a 15-year-old was killed, a 2-year-old was killed, revenge being the motive, and death remaining the outcome. Now this is a sad one, but I'm honestly probably gonna piss off some of the people that are commenting, celebrating the death of the child killer, the baby killer. In my experience inside of prison, baby killers don't get killed. It doesn't happen. And as sad as it is to say, when a child is shot, whether it's a drive-by, whether it's a stray bullet, someone shot up a house and hit a kid, it's looked at as a casualty of war. It's looked at as the same way as if the...
Well, then maybe I had it wrong, but either way, man, it's still crazy. And either way, you pretty much, you still pretty much just don't, I don't know how you pretty much want to word it, but it's just pretty much a bad, sad situation all around. I'll just leave it at that, because I can't really put the words together. But once you do something to a child, I feel like it shouldn't be no respect towards you at all. Like, I don't even care if it was a casualty of a war or anything like that. Like, if you don't know who was all in that house, period, I say you should really do nothing. But either way, y'all know how the streets go. Like I said earlier in the video, people don't care if you just a family friend or family member, etc., or an associate, and you ain't even have nothing to do with the situation for real of an individual's actions. They automatically gonna still look at you as a target no matter what and stuff. But I honestly don't think they even knew about a child being in the house anyways. But like I said, that's why I feel like you should know who is all in that house before you do a hit like that. But at the end of the day, it's the streets, man. The streets don't do nobody no favors, and it's a cold world for real. So it's just a lot of negative things that come with being a part of the streets, and that's one of those things like you have to live with and be able to be okay with. Because if you were part of the streets, then I mean you okay with your family and everybody possibly being targets because of something you might do in the streets or did in the streets. So that's just what it is. But other than that, let's continue.
The Marines bombed a fucking building, and come to find out there was a family in there with 3 kids. Like, whoops, it happened. It isn't, oh, he killed a kid, we're just gonna go get our knives and kill him.
And that is true too, man. Even with actual government wars and stuff like that, it definitely is a lot of casualties. I know either way, even though it is a casualty of war, it still don't sit right with people, and I'm pretty sure it don't even sit right with the people that actually did the attack that was planned and stuff. But it is what it is. People still gotta live with the choices and the actions of the stuff that they did, and sometimes you just gonna have that in your head to remember if you stay alive and stuff after a situation like that happens. So it's just gonna be there for you to remember, like, this happened, kid was a part of this, and unfortunately they was hurt in the situation and possibly lost their life in that situation and stuff. So, but it is what it is. As long as they got their target, that's pretty much how they gonna look at it. But at the end of the day, like I said, a person that's gonna have it on their mind it ain't gonna sit right with them no matter what. It just ain't. But it is what it is, man. We're gonna go ahead and continue on.
him. It doesn't happen like that inside of the prisons that I've been in, inside of the prisons that I know about. It might happen in other states, but not where I've been. And I don't think that that's what happened in this situation.
Yeah, so now that he said that, so yeah, it is still, like I said earlier, people don't really care for people that did something to a child, and they'll possibly do something about it if that person goes to prison and they're around those people that don't tolerate that shit for real. So some prisons, they pretty much don't have no tolerance with a person coming in and being known for doing something like that. In some prisons, they just make sure you just stay out of your motherfuckers' way. That's just how it is. But other than that, let's continue.
Because he made it through county jail for 3 years, 4 years, whatever it was, and then was in prison for about another 4 years without being hit. You know what I mean? Like, it sounds to me he got into a situation and it just turned deadly and he was killed.
And I would say that's probably basically how I would look at it too, man, because they said multiple people got hurt in that whole situation. So if it was really just based off of what he did, I feel like he would have been the only one to really get hurt. Or he possibly had people that was trying to help him and shit, and they got hurt. But either way, man, I'll definitely say it looked like I'll probably lean more towards it was more so basically just who he was in the streets and stuff, and he had problems with obviously other people from the opposite side and stuff, and that's how that situation went down. That's how I would look at it, because like I said, multiple people got hurt. So if it was mostly just about him, it probably should have only been him that got hurt, and if others got hurt, it was possibly because they were trying to help defend them and stuff, and they were just there, and y'all already know how that played out. But other than that, let's continue.
Because the thing is, in my mind, the way I'm processing it, the prison isn't going to release that much information until they have their full investigation. And looking at it from the outside in, the fact that he wasn't the only other person injured makes me think this was a gang thing. It was a gang conflict, a group conflict. Some motherfuckers went at it, he got it the worst. Because you're telling me one guy...
It ain't funny, but the way he said it, though, I mean, it's karma, though, man. Shit. Hey, you went 4 years pretty much with nothing happening to you damn near, so now it was just waiting for a moment to finally happen. So that's how I would look at it, but let's continue.
Was able to defend himself and fuck up a group of people? No. If they were gonna body him, they would have just flat out bodied him, and I don't think it went like that. I think it was just a group fight, and he obviously got hit worse than anyone else. But is karma a bitch? Of course. And at the end of the fucking day, if you're gonna pull a trigger, you're responsible for whatever the fuck it hits. You killed a little girl, I don't feel sorry for you. I'm just saying the satisfaction that a lot of people are talking about, like, oh yeah, that's what he deserves. I don't think he necessarily died because of that. But at the end of the day, he's still dead. That doesn't really excuse the other motherfucker that snitched on him, caught less time, and was only charged with the attempted murder after shooting a fucking...
That's tough. And not only that, he got snitched on. So yeah, that's just a whole crazy situation for him, for sure, man. That's tough.
54-year-old grandmother 7 times, and she still to this day has a bullet lodged in her head. The only reason one kid got 31 years is because he kept his mouth shut and he took a plea deal for murdering the baby. But at the end of the day, they both shot into the same window. They really committed the same crime. Just one was a bitch and he decided to snitch. But maybe I'm wrong. Maybe he didn't know there was a kid inside of there. Maybe he had a change of heart and he was like, look, I understand what I did was wrong. This is what I did. This is what he did. Who fucking knows? I think the more powerful aspect of this story is the fact that it all started with those 2 kids shooting a 15-year-old. And this is what came from that. This is the revenge that happened within 2 hours. Can you imagine going and shooting somebody and within 2 hours you find out your house got hit, your grandmother got hit, or your mother got hit, your niece is dead because of a decision that you made. Now you're on the run from the police and your whole family is fucking shattered. Once again, over a decision that you made. This is why a lot of motherfuckers need to think twice as hard before they make a decision, because that one decision can change everything in your life. But hey, rest in peace to that little girl. It's 1090 Jake. Y'all drop y'all thoughts in the comment section. I'm rocking with you.
Yeah, RIP to that little girl for sure, man. Definitely didn't ask for that to happen and shit, and it's pretty much innocent. So, other than that, though, yeah, man, I definitely agree with everything he said, man. This whole situation was just sad. And yeah, man, like he said, if you're gonna make a decision, just know there's consequences behind it. So you really need to think before you act upon that decision for real. So that being said, though, man, streets ain't good for nobody, period. It don't matter who you are. It just ain't good for you and the people around you at all and stuff. And anything can happen, and ultimately you gotta live with whatever happens because you chose to be a part of that lifestyle. Simple. So other than that, though, that's pretty much the end of the video. That's all I got to say. If you guys enjoy my reaction or whatever the case is, make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. Don't forget to tell your family and friends. Also, don't forget to turn on post notifications as well, and don't forget to add and follow me on social media and stuff like that. All my social media platforms are listed down below in the description box as well as the intro, and you won't have a hard time at all finding my social media platforms. But other than that, that's the end, and I'm gonna catch you guys later on more, so stay tuned. Peace.